After all these years of selling into post and broadcast and studios, I still get that look from people, who's NetApp? What are you doing in media and entertainment? Aren't you an enterprise storage company? And what I say to that generally is, we're now the largest independent storage vendor in the world. We have several thousand engineers working on storage software and data management software. We've got 4 different storage platforms. We provide file, block, and object access to our data. And we can't be pigeonholed into a niche. Whether people are working in editing, rendering, transcoding, these are all different workloads that are presented to the storage infrastructure. And it makes a difference to have those different platforms to choose between, and it allows us to balance between flash and hard disk drives and put together a kind of system that's going to be right for the customer. At NetApp, we've got small systems in Paris, driving most of the high-end Flame workstations there. We've got large systems running the infrastructure for large broadcast operations down in Los Angeles. And for years, the focus of our customers in media has been really the ABCs, what I like to talk about as application integration, bandwidth, and capacity. You've got to work with a storage partner that knows and understands the applications you're working with, stays integrated with them. That's an ongoing testing process at facilities, at software vendor sites. And then you've got to have the bandwidth, whether you're delivering 4K streams into the edit workflow or you're doing low latency work for render wall pipelines. You've got to have the bandwidth or the performance for those systems. And then thirdly, you've got to have the capacity you need. But capacity is becoming not that high a hurdle for storage vendors any longer, with 8 terabyte hard disk drives and 15 terabyte flash disk drives today. It's pretty easy to get enough capacity for everybody. And so what NetApp is focusing on now primarily are what I like to talk about, the storage D's and E's: dependability and enterprise features. Now, dependability, if you're a small house, dependability still may not be very important to you, but in larger workgroup operations, dependability is not measured by dollars per terabyte. It's measured by lost revenue per hour of work. If you're a small shop and you're down for half a day, well, people work late at night and they get caught up. But if it's dozens of workstations or even 100 workstations in a large operation and you're down for half a day or a day, it's not a coffee break, it's a catastrophe. So making sure that dependability, reliability, resiliency, whatever you want to call it, is there is very key to our software developers and the data management work that we're doing. So we've got, in the E-Series, we've got over 1 million lines of code in that controller. Part of that code is there just to handle situations and to be tender to the disk drive. So we can actually build disk arrays that are more reliable than the spec for the individual disk drives that are in it. And in fact, we can treat the disks gently, so even the resiliency at the disk level is better than those disks are rated at. And so that's step 1 in resiliency. The next step is the resiliency scheme that we're using. Of course, we use RAID 5 and RAID 6 in our systems, if that's your choice. But in E-Series today, we've got dynamic disk pools, and that's tantamount to erasure coding in the array level of the system. That allows for disks to fail and the system to keep on running without any hit to the edit workstations. Very important. And engineers don't have to come in the middle of the night or come in on the weekend and replace drives. We can do that at regularly scheduled maintenance periods. So that's part of dependability. Another part of dependability is out at the service level. What we do, we're monitoring with sophisticated storage analytics. We're monitoring thousands of systems in the field at our customer sites. We can tell when a disk becomes suspect, when it becomes close to failing, like it's going to fail in the next month. And we can take that, we can notify the facility, we can take that disk offline, we can rebuild the data onto other drives, all without any hiccups to the work group. So editing continues, there's no issues. So when it comes to downtime, to us, that's a catastrophe. Again, we don't like to ever see that happen with our customers. We like to keep them up and running non-disruptively, or we like to say always on, very important. So dependability is becoming crucial in these larger environments. And then E, enterprise features, everything from storage efficiencies, data compaction, data compression, other features that are in there to provide up to 20 and 30% efficiency. And you know, let's face it, storage can be expensive. It's an expensive part of the hardware infrastructure in these facilities. If we can reduce the cost of storage by 20 or 30% by creating effectively more usable space, we tend to do that. And that's really the difference between enterprise storage and just storage you might go out and buy, you know, a small array just because it happens to be fast and cheap. Another thing about enterprise storage in the larger environments is snapshots and backups and synchronous and asynchronous synchronization of data to an offsite facility for either backup or for what we like to call continuity, the notion that even if an entire site were to go down, you'd still have access to your data and the workstations could carry on. So these are the kinds of things that we're focused on that frankly, a lot of media vendors just don't have the resources to go after. So this is Jason Danielson, Media Solutions at NetApp's, signing off from Vondelpark here in Amsterdam.